City Matters.
Hello, and thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Richard Acritelli, and on today's episode of The Fog of War here on hmTv, I have with me today a special guest, Andy Menechella, will speak about his experiences during a later part of the Vietnam War. Andrew, great to see you today. Can you tell me where you grew up as a kid?
Yeah, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Went to Catholic grammar school, and parents moved to Queens when I was about 12.
What part of Brooklyn did you grow up in?
Williamsburg.
Okay, in Williamsburg.
Yeah, Grant Street, on Grant Street, yeah, between Powers and Graham, many, many years ago.
What's the one thing you remember about Brooklyn?
Good pizza.
Very good pizza, right?
Very good pizza, yeah.
So now you being a quorum guy.
Yeah, different. I had
A little
to get
different, right?
Yeah, but still good pizza places. Still, yeah, not bad.
Okay. Now you go from Williamsburg, Brooklyn, right, to what part of Queens?
To Middle Village.
Okay. So now what's the difference between the two boroughs there?
Well, Queens is a little more open than Brooklyn. Brooklyn was a little more condensed, but there was I had a lot more pleasant memories in Queens growing up and going to high school, going to Grover Cleveland High School, and I was an avid baseball player.
Oh, good. All right. What position?
Catcher.
Okay. So you were like the captain on the team. You saw everything in front of you.
Absolutely. And I was, I got scouted, and I was about to get drafted by
Who was scouting
the
you?
Mets.
Okay.
Right after the '69 World Series, I went down to spring training with Jerry Grody. Played ball with Jerry Grody.
Wow.
And the scout who scouted me was on another assignment, so he couldn't give me a contract then. So I came home. As soon as I came back from spring training, my father said, "You got drafted."
By another team, right?
Yeah, by the Mets, by the Uncle Sam.
By Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Right?
So the lottery came. I was number 141 in the lottery, and there were about 8 of us that were all in the same boat. We used to hang out at this one bar in Glendale,
Sure. Okay.
and we met in the afternoon and said, "Okay, everybody, let's get your numbers, and we'll come back and see what we're going to do."
So now you graduate high school in 1969?
68.
68.
Yeah.
And it's about a year later you get drafted
I
through the lottery?
got about 2 years.
2 years?
2 years later. Yeah, I graduated grammar school, went to high school. My brother graduated high school, went into the service. He went into Vietnam. He came home, and I went.
So he was he there during TET?
He was there after TET.
After TET?
But he was in missiles. It was a little more obscure job than a grunt.
Was that Army or Air Force?
He was Army.
Army.
Yeah. And then
So your parents, there was a lot of sleepless nights. There was a lot of wondering, right? You have
Absolutely.
one boy over and then another one about to.
And my dad was prisoner of war in the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. So he had some stuff going on.
What do you remember about some of your father's experiences during World War II, especially
Didn't
being a
talk much.
prisoner? He didn't say much about
Didn't
it?
say much at all. It was a different time. He kind of kept to himself, and I mean, he was a dad, a lot different, a lot hands off than I was with my children.
Sure.
I was, all city baseball, and he never came to any of my baseball games.
Did he work a lot, or did he?
He worked, but he was European Italian. He hung out with all his paisans, all his friends, and was kind of self-centered and selfish.
All right. Did he come here from Italy?
Yeah, he came here when he was 13.
Wow. So
And he was born 17, so it was 1930.
let me ask you this here. Him being a Italian immigrant to this country, was he a citizen when he fought? He became a citizen?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Did he ever say he was treated a little bit differently in terms of
When?
being a prisoner of war?
Well, interestingly enough, he was in Stalag, whatever number, I don't remember. And the sergeant of the barracks, the German came from Power Street in Brooklyn.
Wow.
And when the war started, he went back to the motherland.
Which a lot of people don't realize. They got called, and
absolutely,
many of them went over there.
They did. So he got my father. I remember him telling me some scraps of food and kind of got him through it. But he was in there for about 7 months.
It could have been easily the other way.
Yeah.
Where they saw this Italian,
absolutely,
American now citizen, who was part of the Axis powers. That you know, so
then the Italians, Chuhoid, they went over, and you know, could have been different.
That's an interesting dynamic, right there.
And I might not have been here today.
And you know something, you live in now kind of start of Eastern Long Island, right? Central Suffolk, Eastern Long Island. There were prisoners of war from World War II from Suffolk County. It was called the Nassau and Suffolk County chapter of prisoners of war. There was a man I knew who lived in Wading River, Mike O'Shea, and then Martin Andrews from Port Jeff, who, you know, he lived directly across the street from St. Charles Hospital, which I'm sure you've driven by a million times, right? Sure. And he was interned in Switzerland, and he was traded by Allen Dulles with D-Day intelligence.
That's interesting.
They went through Nazi Germany, France, and then into Spain. So you had a lot of these men, believe it or not, were around. And up until the Battle of the Bulge, the largest prisoners of war were the airmen, right? The bombers, right?
Yeah, got shot down. Sure.
And then the Battle of the Bulge, just complete surprise, right?
Absolutely.
The Germans penetrated the lines and
about 40,000.
Yeah, that were taken.
POWs.
And you know, what did the Germans say? For you, the war is over.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So, you're a good ball player.
Used to be.
Right.
Used to
but
be.
it's the game's still in you, right? You still watch it. Right?
Yeah, I still coached and reffed. I played kind of like semi-pro fast pitch for, I don't know, 30 years. I played a lot of ball, traveling all over the country.
Hardball or softball?
I never played hardball again.
Wow.
It was all fast pitch, softball, windmill.
You know a guy, Freddie Cambria?
Yeah.
Big guy.
Big guy, yeah. The name's familiar.
He played for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay.
And he outpitched Tom Seaver. And Freddie's a great guy. He's like one of those, you know, he just loves softball. And unbelievable. So, all right. So now you're a young guy. You're a good ball player. You have a little taste of it with the Mets, right? Which is very important because you're a Queens kid.
Yep.
The Mets are, you know, Queens.
Although not a Met fan.
Yeah, not a Met fan.
San Francisco Giant.
Giants there. So
my dad used to take me to the Polo Grounds.
Okay.
I grew up with Willie Mays.
And then you watched them move out west.
Yeah,
right?
and I went to a couple of games out there. I'm still a die-hard Giant fan. San Francisco Giant fan.
And that stadium's a beautiful,
gorgeous.
Beautiful stadium.
One of the nicest ones in the country, yeah.
So you've seen some good baseball over the years.
Oh, absolutely.
So now you get drafted. Uncle Sam is calling.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter what part of the war it is. The war is still going on.
The war is absolutely going on.
So now, what are the first steps that you, in terms of your, you know, I guess it would be your time in the military, right?
Okay. So take a step back, and I was telling you about the bar we used to hang out in. So 8 of us met at night, and I was number 141. Somebody was 1639. I said, what are we going to do? So I was kind of the leader. And I said, we'll go to Jamaica, we'll push up our draft, and we'll go in together.
Sure.
Right? So everybody looked at me, we downed a couple of shots, and off we went to Jamaica the next morning.
Did that calm you guys down a little bit?
Yeah,
or?
kind of, sort of, but we didn't know what the hell we were getting into.
Yeah, you don't know.
We had no idea.
And then did you go to Fort Hamilton?
I went to Fort Hamilton for induction. Then I went to Fort Dix for basic training. Then after basic training, you got orders, and that kind of told you where you were going to go.
What time of the year were you at Fort Dix?
I was at Fort Dix. I got it was probably May. I got drafted April. So
nice hot and humid down there.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, but that was nothing compared to the future.
Sure.
The future heat.
Yeah.
So after basic training, I got my orders to go to Fort Polk, Louisiana, in the swamps. That's
Jungle Land.
Jungle Land.
Okay.
That's Vietnam.
Sure.
So we went, and I was very lucky. A couple of drill sergeants took a liking to me, made me a squad leader, so I was able to get a little more in-depth training, which I'm glad I did, because if I didn't go to Fort Polk, I'm not sure I would have survived. it was the swamps. It was snakes and leeches and, rats and jungle, woods/jungle, 100 degrees, so the environment was kind of the same, except nobody was shooting at you.
Yeah.
Until we went to the firing, lane lines and stuff.
Now, a lot of your instructors, I would imagine they were over in Vietnam.
All Vietnam vets, 2 tours, 3 tours. Some of these guys were really
no nonsense.
No nonsense guys, yeah. So
now they're hard on you.
Yeah.
They're tough.
Yep.
I'm sure your New York accent probably sticks out a little bit.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
And I was a street kid, so I wasn't afraid of anything.
Italian kid from Queens.
Yep, little chip on my shoulder.
Strong accent. You're probably a little mad you're not playing baseball somewhere,
I'm a big
right?
dude.
Right?
Big dude.
Good shape.
Good shape.
Now do you realize a little bit, hey, those guys,
well,
they were doing a job and they did it, right?
Absolutely. And I really paid attention because I figured if they were, went through 2 or 3 tours, they obviously made it and they knew what to do.
In order to survive.
And they told me, when you get there, try to get with your squad leaders when you get to Vietnam, and they'll tell you what to do. And that's kind of what transpired.
What was the biggest thing that you took out of Jungle Land there, Tigerland there?
Out of Tigerland, how to be thick-skinned and not to be afraid. That's what got me through Vietnam.
The thick skin was them telling you what to do, but
and take it.
They had a unique way of
absolutely
of presenting it. Right?
You want to eat breakfast, but you gotta crawl, low crawl, 500 feet and do calisthenics and before you eat, and then you got 5 minutes, and then
jungle
you're out,
gym,
and
right?
and then you're out and you're walking 10 miles to a range.
And it doesn't make you into a bad person.
Not at all.
It helps you now and down the road.
I loved it. I loved the activity, and I was a competitor, so to me it was all competition.
So you being an athlete and being in good shape and being active, probably since the moment that you crawled, right?
Yeah,
you were in good shape. So the physicalities.
Yeah, it also played against me because being a big dude, being in good shape. When I got to Vietnam, I was carrying the M60 machine gun,
which is a little bit more weight.
It was 75-pound rucksack and 25-pound machine gun, jumping out of helicopters. So my bones are, I paid the price through the years, but I was a big guy, and I wound up being a squad leader by default, as we had some injuries.
So now, are you a squad leader?
No, when I was there, I was a regular PFC.
But when you go to Tigerland,
Tigerland, they made me a squad leader.
A squad leader, you graduate from there, right? Or
yes.
you
graduate,
right? You satisfy the requirements,
right?
Then you go right over, or
I went right to Fort Polk. Then when I graduated from Fort Polk, I came home for about 3 weeks, and then I hit that.
And you knew you were going to Vietnam, right?
Yeah, I had my orders already.
So what was it like to go home, see your family, your friends, maybe guys already were over there?
Yeah.
What was that feeling like?
It was scary. Of course, the unknown. I had some friends that were maimed, and some guys got killed already. So I kind of knew it was something that I was going to have to deal with. And when I first got there,
and you were what, 20 years old by that time?
I was 20.
Wow.
I had my 20th to 21st birthday there. When I got there, I knew I was going to die.
Is that what your feeling was?
Absolutely. As soon as I got off the helicopter. I don't know if you remember Platoon with Charlie Sheen.
Sure, yeah.
He gets off and it's all sandy and dusty, and all he sees is Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Are they good? Are they bad?
Yeah.
Heard a lot about VC.
And then you see all the body bags.
And I was a replacement.
Yeah.
We had 6 replacements in the platoon, so 6 guys got killed.
Let me ask you this here. You bring up Platoon. We'll do a little history versus Hollywood here, right?
Yeah,
and then we'll get into your story, right?
Sure.
I was a kid, 1980s. I graduated high school in 94, and I go into the service, right?
Yep.
We always knew about Vietnam, but the Vietnam vets were very quiet about it.
Yeah.
So I would see you, and I knew you did something, but I wasn't quite sure.
Uh-huh.
When you looked at Platoon, was that a pretty accurate?
Yeah. It was, to me, of all the Vietnam movies, that was the most accurate.
What made it that good in terms of the war?
A lot of the incidents that happened. There was a couple of times where they were overrun, and Charlie Sheen came out of the foxhole and started shooting.
Sure.
That happened a couple of times, and I put a dead body on top of me, just so we wouldn't, we were getting overrun, so we didn't know. Best thing to do was put a body on me, and
there was really no front lines over there, right?
No front lines.
You have tunnels.
Once you got,
the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Once you jump off a helicopter, you're in the jungle by yourself.
Sure.
If you're in a squad, you got 10. If you're in a platoon, you got 30. You could be in a brigade, depending on the search and destroy missions. What happened was
you might get a little air support, right?
Oh, we got a lot of air support,
but it's the guys next to you.
Yeah, I could never ever be closer than the guys I was with in Vietnam. We were a tight crew, and we were good, over time.
Did you have any of the local guys from Glendale?
Yeah,
that were in your unit.
Yep. We had one of my friends that Louis Tulo.
Does that make it harder or easier?
Nah, it was easier.
It was easier.
Friendly face.
Sure.
However, after about 9 months, we were allowed to go back. They used to call it back to the world. So for 14 days, I could go back home.
Wow.
So my friend Louis, who he was a shortstop, I was the catcher. He was a great shortstop. He said, I can't go home. If I go home, I'm not coming back. I'm going to go to Canada or do whatever. I said, look, this is God telling me to get the hell out of here. I'm going.
Sure.
I go home, I see I'm in Middle Village, he's in Maspeth, I see his parents.
What did I say, Glendale? That's where the bar was.
The bar
right?
was Glendale.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up Middle Village. Louis was from Maspeth, so I went to see his parents. Oh my God, everything's cool. Why didn't Louis come home? He didn't want to. So now I go back to the Nam. So
now everybody handles it a little bit differently mentally, right?
Oh, of course. So I go back to my unit, and I go back to the rear, and the company commander said, suit up. He said, we need you to get out quick. So I go to the helicopter pad, and there's 10 guys there. I said, who are you guys? And they're looking at me. I said, we're replacements. Replacements? Lo and behold, they got
so they went out on a mission while you were gone.
My unit got ambushed. My friend Louis stepped on a mine, got his leg blown off from the hip down. Lost 4 other guys. And these were all replacements.
I had a teacher at JFK, Fort Jeff Station. He had part of I believe the back of his leg and his behind.
Yeah, very easy. Very easy. I mean, you don't know when it's going to be. You don't know when you're outnumbered. Whenever they hit us, it was either a sniper or an ambush.
But you knew they were out there in one capacity or another.
I smell them today.
Wow.
I smell them in a mall today. I never lost that sense, that smell. I drive my wife crazy. I go through my clothes once a month, and if it's made in Vietnam, I chuck it.
Wow.
I can't do it.
Hey, that's how you cope. That's how right. Right.
And so, with my life, I was
so now you're in the field.
Yeah.
Can you describe what your first mission was like? Because you're there for a while, right?
Yeah,
so
it wasn't necessarily a mission, go get that hill.
Or first experience.
Yeah, it was more or less going out to the field and looking at jungle and guys said, keep your head down and watch the trail. And all of a sudden now it's starting to make sense, all the training. And then the first time you take fire, I was carrying an M16 at the time. I didn't have the M60 when I first got there. But we got ambushed, and the M60 guy froze. So I took the gun and I went up and got a field of fire so we could get the hell out of there. And then they gave me the 60 after that.
And the 60 is a powerful.
Oh, I
weapon.
loved that thing.
Pop, 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 pop. Right?
Yeah, 1,000 rounds. I almost melted a barrel.
Did you put tracer rounds for at night?
Sometimes, the tracer rounds were cool because it would look good when it go through somebody.
Yeah.
And it was
crazy, right?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That was a lot of juice, a lot of juice, and you had to eliminate the outside. You had to physically be there and understand. That's why you hear, I don't know, wives' tale about not speaking to the guys for the first 30 days because they do something stupid and they get killed. So nobody would get close to you. 30 days until you got the ropes, until you figured out what was up.
Kind of got your feet wet a little bit.
Got your feet wet.
And then did you have to prove That you were just not some dumb replacement, right?
Well,
that
they knew
They
knew it. Once I picked up the machine gun and went towards the fire, they knew who I was. And
so that carried a little weight for you.
I carried it, yeah. And we all had nicknames. I was New York, of course, with my accent.
Which is amazing, right?
Yeah. And my squad leader, his nickname was Playboy. Say, how the hell Playboy? What is that? His grandmother, he didn't want his grandmother to know he went to Vietnam, so she thought he was surfing in California.
Wow.
She said, "You're such a Playboy."
Yeah, yeah.
So we all had.
It's kind of like Forrest Gump, right? When,
exactly.
When he's on the trail,
Yeah,
and Lieutenant Dan says, "Get down, shut up," and he's got the tobacco, he's got the cigar in his mouth.
Absolutely.
And he goes, he's like scanning the guys.
Yeah.
Such and such is from Ohio.
Yeah.
And he's from Texas. And,
absolutely.
right?
We were from all over the place. We had.
It really is the nations of like geography in terms of the country. You got guys all over.
All over. And different accents. You get a guy from Kentucky and a guy from New York, from Brooklyn. Slang. All.
You're just looking at each other. You're trying to figure out.
You're twanging it, right? Yeah. It was pretty cool, and I had some real good friends, and lost some friends.
Now I don't know if this is a dumb question, because this may never happen, but when were you fairly comfortable going out in the field? When does that date come about?
Never.
But when you start seeing yourself as, I can give advice here.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, like I said, when I first got off the chopper, off the plane, I thought I was going to die. And I'm going to take as these mother effers with me as I can.
Sure.
So that was the premise. So all I did was pick up habits, good and bad, and you try to use the good habits.
What was a couple of the good habits?
Good habit was making sure you had your either machine gun or M16 on safe, because guys would start shooting for reason, and some guys got friendly fire. 6 months of monsoon season and 6 months of 110 degrees.
What was the monsoon season?
Oh my God!
You get trench foot?
I got trench everything.
Wow!
It was we were constantly wet for 6 months, and you're in a jungle, and the jungle was triple canopy, so it could be lunchtime, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 100 degrees, pitch black. That's how dense the jungle was. And it was, full of stuff, full of leeches and snakes and wild boar and all kinds of snakes. And you were constantly wet. And then you go to sleep at night. How do you go to sleep at night? How do you sleep?
Yeah, you're not comfortable.
No. So you got two guys. I got me and you. You have a poncho. I have a poncho which is rolled up in our rucksack. We spread the ponchos out together, right? We shoot shoelaces on time. We get some stakes. We blow up our air mattresses. Our canteen is leather, so it's a pillow, and we have a poncho liner. And then we take everybody's got guard duty on a trail or we're on a fire base, wherever you are. And it's a question of not letting it get to you.
Working together.
And you have elephantitis, and they used to call it crotch rot. Our thighs were all bloody on the inside of the thighs because you're always wet. Feet. And maybe once every 30 or 45 days we get to a fire base.
So you're considered a grunt, right?
Oh, I'm a grunt.
Right?
Yeah, 11 Bush.
How did a grunt able just to operate when their feet are whittled down to nothing?
Yeah,
legs are... It's an impossible situation.
It is an impossible situation, but there's also no alternative.
You got to keep
on going. What are you
going.
going to do? You're going to cry, Mom?
Yeah.
You gotta suck it up, and hopefully you're.
Mom's a half world away.
Oh my God! And if it's raining that bad, you can't get logged, so the helicopters couldn't come in. So sometimes we didn't have any food, and we cut bamboo. We had bamboo soup and whatever herbs we had in our.
Did the older guys know what to look at, what to look for?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I got to be an older guy too, right?
Sure.
So I had enough time and country where I knew what to do and what not to do.
You never ate bamboo soup again, right?
No, but I still ate the paprika on pasta when I came home and drove people crazy.
Yeah.
Because I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved the paprika.
sure.
We used to have sea rations from friggin' Korea.
Yeah.
So it's 20, 25 years old.
And I'm sure they didn't,
No,
last too well. Right?
No, that didn't. But it was food, and some guys got packages from the world.
You would have thought that like those C rations would have been used up
Yeah.
in the early 60s, mid 60s, and the newer stuff would have more or less filtered.
They came with something later on, LERPs. It was dehydrated food, and it was in a pouch. And you boiled water, and you put it in 2 minutes you had pork and a scallop potatoes.
Like I had that MREs, meal ready to eat.
Yeah, same thing. It's like, it was a treat.
Yeah.
Right? So I wouldn't eat spaghetti and meatballs out of a can.
They give you a Mars bar.
Imagine having spaghetti and meatballs out of a Italian kid eating spaghetti and meatballs out of a can.
Yeah.
It's like a sacrilege.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Especially being from Queens. And,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, all right. So we're going to come back for a second episode here on the Fog of War and Humanity on hmTV. Please join us for an extremely interesting segment that's coming up.